everybody. I'm your host Megan, and you're watching my podcast. You can find me as 321 Tika on Ravelry. That's 321 Tika. I'm always updating Ravelry with what I'm working on, and all the yarn and pattern information will be on my project pages. Let's move on to finished objects. Since this is our first episode, I kind of wanted to show you some of my favorite finished objects that I've done so far. So the first one is my Color Affection shawl. This is by Vera Valimaki. Can't fit it all in the frame, so I'm going to kind of rock it back and forth like this. Woo! So this is knit in Debbie Bliss Botany Lace. I used a really bright tonal yellow, and there's some pooling up here that I was kind of concerned about when I first started knitting with it, but I figured I kind of liked it. And then the pooling isn't nearly as noticeable once you get into the stripe sections. I knit on this for a total of 34 hours, 55 minutes. I was actually at a point in my knitting career where I was timing everything. So 34 hours, 54 minutes of knitting time. And yeah, the only modification I made was the blue border at the bottom. I did it for 1 inch instead of 2, because at this point I was just a little bit sick of knitting on it, to be quite honest, that I wanted to wear it and have it and squish it. It's garter stitched, so it's all super squishy. Yeah, so that's our first one. The next one I'm really proud of is actually a scrappy project I made with a bunch of leftovers I had. I was diagnosed with carpal tunnel in both wrists, and I read online that one of the things you can do for that is to have wrist warmers. So of course I went and knit myself a pair of wrist warmers, right? Because what else would I do? So here they are. They go, but they don't match. They're fraternal twins, I guess. And the cool thing about them is that they're all made of scraps. So these are the Gully Gloves by Kelly McClure. I found them in the Quick and Easy Knits magazine, but you can also find them on Ravelry. So for this one, I chose the order of the stripes. And then for this one, I used a random stripe generator. So you can see it's kind of all dark down here, which isn't what I would have picked, but I kind of like how it turned out. So these are knit in the round from the bottom up. You make the welts in the welt pattern. It's a really easy knit and purl kind of thing. And then at the top, you have an applied border that starts with this edge and goes around. It's just garter stitch. It was actually easier than I thought it was going to be. I was a little bit worried about it, but it's not that bad. And then what you do is you seam just this little bit right here so that you leave a thumb hole. So there's no gusset, there's no increases or anything like that. That's how the thumb hole happens. Another option for the thumb hole on these gloves is to bind off in the middle of a welt and then cast on again, so you have a welt, but I like the look of this flap better. And it folds down, or you can fold it up depending on how warm you are. So if I wanted to keep my fingers mostly covered because I was cold, I could fold it up like this, or I could fold it down to have a little bit more dexterity if I was knitting or something like that. So here we go. So quick rundown of what these yarns were. Again, they were all scraps I had left over from other projects. This baby pink right here was from Savers, a thrift store that I found. Somebody just tossed a nice ball of baby pink scrap into Savers. This white one is Red Heart Soft. This green one is Lion Brand Woolies in this color Seafoam. I remember that one. This pink is Plymouth Yarns Royal Llama Silk. It's llama and silk, so it's much nicer than all these other acrylics that I'm using, but I was just trying to use stuff up. This gray is Valley Yarns. It's actually a fingering weight that I held double. I forget what the name of it was, but it was a Valley Yarns thing. I got it from Webs. Yes, I got all of them. So this is it. These are my fingerless mitts that I'm quite proud of. There's also more information on Ravelry about exactly how much yarn each one of these welts took. I took really detailed notes for the scrap busting portion of it, so if you want to see those, head to my Ravelry page. So, a while back, I was really into making dishcloths. I had a dishcloth kick, I was on it, I was running away with dishcloths, and then something got into me when I was in AC Moore, and I was looking through mill ends, and I found cotton mill ends, bright colors. So I bought 5 pounds of cotton mill ends. They work great for dishcloths, but I have so much of them. I'm trying to use them up, but the colors are so bright and awful that it's like, would they fit in anybody's kitchen? So I decided to buy more yarn, because that's obviously the solution to all of life's problems. And I bought a Dishy cone, a cone of Knit Picks Dishy, in the swan colorway, just white. And so I decided, okay, I'll use some white to kind of tone these things down. And so this is my results. This is mosaic knit, so you're only using one color at a time. I really, really liked doing the mosaic knitting on this dishcloth. I am going to be looking forward to more mosaic knitting projects in my future. So these are the linoleum dishcloths by Kay Gardner. And I did make a modification. I only used 2 colors. So what you're supposed to do is use the main color, in my case pink, all the way through. And then you're supposed to change the white into a different color, I think for this part. I didn't do that. I kept the white all the way through because I wanted to really balance out the pink, and the only other color I had was like really bright yellow, and I was like, eh. So I actually made 2 of these to have a set. Here's the back where my slip stitch floats are. They're not Fair Isle floats, they're just slip stitches. And I'm looking forward to designing with mosaic knitting in the future. I really liked the mosaic knitting I've done so far, so that was it. Okay, that was that one. Speaking of designing, the next 2 projects I'm really, really proud of are my designs. And I'm not just showing them to you because they're my designs and I want you to buy them. I do. I'm showing them to you because I'm actually really proud of how they came out and I wanted to share them. So this one is my first ever design, the first thing I ever knit without pattern. Ooh. Sorry, the camera's been shaking. You're on my bed, so I'm hoping the shaking isn't too bad, but I may have to stabilize it in editing. Anyway, this is what I call the zigzag textured cowl, and it's actually showing up pretty well on screen. I was inspired because I was just in a rut of knitting, and I went to AC Moore because that's what I do. I found the Lion Brand feels like butter, and it's so soft and so squishy. I'm like, I have to make something with this, but I don't know what to make. I'm gonna make a cowl. How hard can a cowl be? I had watched a craftsy class on designing a cowl with Laura Nelkin, and I really, really liked it. It sounded really cool, so I figured, hey, I can do this. Up at the bottom you have your garter bumps. I can't see. There we go. And I did 1 in each color, so I cast on in this green and then did 2 bumps. And then you have this kind of chevron pattern, which I'm thinking of using in another design coming up shortly. If I design it, I might just use someone else's pattern, but I'll tell you about it later. This is a broken rib, so in the round, because this is knit in the round, it's just knit 1, purl 1, and then you knit around. So that's pretty cool. It makes this really cool kind of waffly, not waffly, but thermally texture. And then here you have your garter stripes. So you have a stockinette background with your garter zigzags on them. And that's your biggest section. This is all mathematically proportional. So this is the same as these 2 sections. And these 2 sections are the same. So everything fits. And then at the top I did the thing with the garter bumps again. Now in the design I do have instructions for how to do the garter bump stripes. But to be quite honest, if I was knitting it again, I probably wouldn't do that. I probably would modify it to just be 1 color for the garter stripes. I'm not sure if I would do the same color as this or maybe this color. But that was a lot of ends to weave in because it's only 2 rows of 1 color. And then you break it because you don't have any more until you get down here, so you can't carry it really. So anyway, I'm super proud of it though. It's so soft. You can knit it out of whatever worsted weight yarn you like, but it is so soft in the Lion Brand. Okay, my next thing is a big cuddly wrap. It's big. It's 60 inches long by 20 inches, I think, wide. And I call it my resilience wrap. When I published it, it actually made Hot Right Now, which I am so excited about. But here it is. This is the most important part right here. So I have, these are 1/1 cables, so you don't need a cable needle. And then this right here is a braided cable. This is all moss stitch, by the way. All the background of all of this is a moss stitch. I know a lot of people don't like knit one, purl one stuff. I love moss stitch. It lays flat. It's beautiful. It's squishy, and everybody comments on what a beautiful stitch it is. And it's like not that hard. So I designed it because I wanted something that would be fun to knit, but also unique and individual. So it's knit in 2 pieces, or it's knit in 1 piece, but you knit this piece going this way, and then you pick up and knit, and then go this way. And this is just the same all the way down. And then you bind off here. So I think this one's knit actually top down. So you cast on at this edge and knit this way. And then bind off down here, and then pick up stitches, and then knit this way. I hope that made sense. You can see if you look at my Ravelry page kind of why I called it the resilience wrap, and how it reminds me of all the picking up of your stitches is like picking up the pieces of your life that have kind of come crashing down around you. Because you're going in one direction and then suddenly everything just doesn't work that way anymore, and you have to go in a new direction. But the new direction is beautiful too, and you know. Anyway, it's my resilience wrap. I really love it. It's really cuddly. It's really good to take to like the beach where the wind blows. I actually did my photo shoot for this. My mom took the phone and did some camera work with me at the beach, because the wind just kind of blows and you can kind of wrap yourself in it, and it's cuddly. You can sit on it like a picnic blanket. I used, the yarn I used, Stitch Studio by Nicole Earth Tone. I'm going to pull it out here. I had to use, it comes in really big. This is like half. I had to wind it on my Knit Picks ball winder, and I had to break it because the ball got too big. But I did use more than one. I used one of the big balls and then a little bit of some more. But this is an inexpensive, affordable yarn. I think it's like 1,000 yards that I used in the shawl, give or take. Look on Ravelry, see what it is. But I think that's what I used. But this is just a beautiful tweed. It was just kind of speaking to me, spoke to my dad. He takes me to the yarn store a lot because I don't drive. It just looks really cool. And then I can show you it knit up, because I was showing you the design, but I didn't show you. You can see the cables look pretty good. And even the more complicated cable shows up. I was a little worried when I picked the yarn and I was designing the pattern that the cable wouldn't show up and I'd have to go get different yarn. But it worked pretty well. Oh, it's a fun, relaxing knit. Once you get the hang, both pieces are, even the piece with the complicated cable, because it's not nearly as complicated as it looks. It's really TV knitting. I knit on that sitting outside by the campfire. I knit on it watching Netflix. I knit on it doing all kinds of stuff. It's just fun, it's relaxing, it's easily to memorize, but it's complicated enough that it's interesting. So I tell you where to put your stitch markers, and you just kind of knit to get your stitch marker, and then do what you need to do, and then keep going. It's really easy. And then my last finished object that I'm really proud of is what I'm wearing. So this is the cold shoulder top now. I had knit one sweater before, and it came out huge, and I don't know what happened because I got gauge. I was very careful to get gauge. I think what happened is I didn't measure myself. I just said, oh, well, when I buy sweaters at the store, I'm usually a medium, so I should knit a medium. And then medium ended up being like huge. So now it's a huge slouchy sweater instead of a nice fitted cardigan. Everybody says it looks really cozy when I wear it, and I get lots of compliments on it, but it's not what I was going for at all. But then I picked up my first ever knitting magazine. This is an issue of Knit Simple. This is Holiday 2017 Knit Simple. If I can find the correct page, I saw this sweater and I absolutely had to knit it. Like, I fell in love with it. I said, this is my next sweater. And then it took me a couple of months to get up the courage to knit a sweater again after my first sweater failed. But then I decided, you know what, I read it through. It's easy. It's not hard. It's really simple. If you can knit and purl, make one increases, picking up stitches, and some seaming, because it is in 2 pieces and it's seamed up the side. If you can do that, you can knit this sweater. Hers is done in this, it's worsted weight. Hers is done in this beautiful purple. But I was at E.C. Moore. And I was just looking through the yarns and I found this. This is Lion Brand's Pound of Love in the colorway Claret. This is how much I have left over after making this sweater. This is not a new ball I bought. This is the ball. And you can see it's kind of flat now. I can kind of squish it up real small. It's not, you know, what it once was. But this Pound of Love was enough to make this short sleeve sweater. No problem. I was amazed. It's a nice worsted weight. It's soft when you wash it. It gets softer after every wash. It has a little bit of a halo to it after washing, but it's not really pilling. And then this yarn, I don't know if you can see up close. No, it's kind of blowing out here. But it's actually 2 strands twisted together. It's a darker strand and then kind of a metallic strand twisted together. This yarn is often associated with baby stuff. They make a lot of baby colors, but it doesn't have to be for babies. I made a gorgeous sweater out of it. So if you want to see, I'm afraid if I stand up, like the camera's shaking already because it's on my bed, but I feel like if I just stand up, it comes down about yay far. I followed the pattern pretty much exactly. Yeah, pretty much exactly. I had some issues with the bind off. You see the sleeves are flaring a little bit. I did a super stretchy bind off right here on the sleeve with the ribbed edge. And I decided I wouldn't have done that if I were to knit the sweater again. I would do the decrease bind off like I did along the neckline, and that's much less flaring. So that's it for my finished objects. I won't have that many in future videos, but I just kind of wanted to show you some of what I do, some of what I like. Works in progress. Okay. So my first work in progress are what I'm calling my San Francisco socks, because I bought the yarn as a souvenir when I went to San Francisco. It's actual hand-dyed sock yarn instead of A.C. Moore yarn. And I bought it at Firebird Yarns in San Francisco. This main body of the sock, this kind of pink watercolory kind of thing, is Comma Chameleon Yarn Company. It's in Phosphorescent Rose. It's hardy sock, 75% merino, 25% nylon. The colorway is Phosphorescent Rose. It's beautiful. And then for the heels and toes, so you can see how the toe has come up already, I used a mini that I found. They had a little bucket full of minis and I was just digging through them like, ooh. So this is 20 grams. Here we go. Houndstooth Fiber Arts Twinkle 4-ply sock yarn. 5% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, 5% stellina. And I had the colorway Moonlight. And it kind of made stripes. It's glittery. You can see it's glittery. And it kind of made stripes swirling up the toe. I know if I didn't want that to happen, I should alternate skeins, or at least split the mini in half and alternate, but I kind of like how the stripes came out, so I'm not against that. This knitting was my vacation knitting when I went to Puerto Vallarta, and it was kind of funny because I wanted to just have relaxing knitting to do on the beach. So I knit both toes. So this is the toe. And I put it on waste yarn, and I said, you know what, I don't want to be fiddling with Judy's Magic Cast On. I'm still not super great at it. I do it on DPNs instead of on Magic Loop, because I like DPNs, but it's a little more fiddly when you don't have that cord. It's less flexible, and it's a little, I didn't want to deal with it on a plane or on the beach. So I knit both toes, and then put them away, and then when I got to vacation, I cast on. So here's the yarn. It doesn't look super great because it's been shoved in a bag, it's been shoved in my purse, it's been shoved in my suitcase, it's been shoved everywhere. Here's what it looks like, all caked up. Let me see if the other cake. I did a Very Pink Knits trick, and I actually split the yarn into 2 cakes. And since I'm knitting a toe-up sock, that means I can keep going theoretically until I run out of yarn. I'm not sure I'm going to do that because I have a lot of yarn left, and the sock is getting long. So I'm not sure I'm going to knit all the way, but I have that option available to me if I want it. And I know I will have enough yarn for the second sock because I have the same amount here that I started with. I'm going to start off by saying I'm using DPNs. These needles are the Knitter's Pride Carbons in size 2. I get 8 stitches per inch on size 2s. Apparently that's weird. A lot of people don't. My stitches don't feel tight. They slide across the needle fairly easily. And I'm not twisting them, so I'm not sure what the deal is, but that's how I get my gauge, and that's what I do. I really like these because they're a little bit flexible compared to, I've used aluminum needles, I've used bamboo needles on larger gauge projects. I really like the carbons because they bend, but they don't break. And it's easier on my hands if something has a little bit of give to it. I prefer needles with a little bit of give, and you actually use Knitter's Pride marbles. A lot of people don't like those. I like them because they give. The pattern I'm using, so I'm kind of modifying a few things. The basic pattern is the toe-up socks pattern, the My First toe-up socks. Let me see if I have a picture. The My First toe-up socks, toe-up afterthought heel sock pattern from the Craftsy class, My First toe-up socks. I have Craftsy Unlimited, I use it a lot. I'm always learning new things. So I'm kind of modifying that pattern to basically, they use a forethought heel, I think it's called, where you actually put the yarn in, the waste yarn in the sock, and then keep going. I modified it to include a cut-in afterthought heel, and I've done this exact pattern before with a pair of some Knit Picks yarn that I didn't, not that I didn't like, but that I wasn't so concerned about, just in case I messed up, and they came out great. So I'm very excited. I'm doing that with this sock. You can see I have my marker here, and that's where I'm going to put my heel. And the heel is going to be in this blue. But the cuff is going to be the same yarn. I'm not going to do the mini for the cuff. So that's basically what I'm doing. I think I'm not going to do a 2x2 rib at the cuff. I think I'm going to do a 1x1 twisted rib. I saw that on the Budget Knitter. He really likes that. And I think it looks a lot better than some of the stuff I've been doing with the 2x2 ribs, to be quite honest. So we'll see if that ends up being what I do. Or I could do regular 1x1 rib and do a tubular bind off, which I have never done, but always a good time to start, right? So maybe I'll knit up a swatch and try a tubular bind off and see if I like it. Oh, and this bag, my project bags aren't really project bags. I don't go to Etsy and buy handmade project bags just because they're beautiful and they're expensive. This is a drawstring bag that my dad got from his CPAP mask. I think it came in it. It says ResMed on it. But it's the perfect size for a sock sack, and it's really durable, and I can just take it everywhere. Okay. Did I mention I got those yarns in Firebird Yarns in San Francisco? On Hate, I believe. I believe it was on Hate. We spent a lot of time on Hate. Okay. My next thing I also started when I was on vacation is It's the Girl from the Grocery Store Doll by Joji Locatelli. I'm keeping it in this bag that I got from my local job lot for $6. It's actually a really nice bag. It's got a zipper pocket here, it's got a pocket in here, it's got another zipper pocket on the back, and then it's got the big zipper pocket in the middle, and then it's got little pockets on the inside. It's full of pockets. So, pattern I'm using is the Girl from the Grocery Store, and I don't think I printed the picture page because I wasn't planning on sharing this with anybody. I did not. So this is just the pattern, so I'm not going to show it. I usually print just the patterns of stuff because why would I print the picture when I know what it's going to look like and it'll come out this way? The answer to why I would do that is if I'm planning on showing people what I'm making, it's kind of hard when you don't have the picture. So I'm going to show you my yarns first. Here we go. These are Mad Tosh Merino Light that I bought at the Webb's booth in Stitches United in Hartford, Connecticut. These are 100% merino wool, fingering weight, 420 yards. Now, that's not enough yards to finish this. I didn't realize this when I bought the yarn, but I bought the yarn. I wanted to do the project so bad. I don't have enough yarn in the main color to finish. So I'm going to have to make some modifications. And I'm not exactly sure what modifications I'm going to make. I might have to eliminate a section. I might have to just make a shorter section, like a half section, before I start the lace at the end. But anyway, I forget which color was which. I think this one was Stormborn. It's a nice tonal gray. And then this one is, I believe, Blue Leopard? I don't know. It's white with blue and gray speckles in it. And the blue and gray speckles, or the gray speckles, are the same as this. So you can see this is the main color. I've used a lot more of this, but this will be the color that lace gets done in. I don't have enough of this to finish, so we'll see what I do. I tried looking on Ravelry to see if anybody else had that problem, and everybody else just had the foresight to read the pattern and say you need 2 skeins of the main color. I didn't have the foresight to do that because I was at the booth and I was all excited and I was like, I want one of these. You know, you're probably waiting to see the shawl. I wanted to get all the details out of the way first. So these needles, oops, tangled, okay. These needles are the Knit Picks Rainbow Wood interchangeable needles. I'm using a size 7, which is what the pattern calls for. And here is the shawl. It is very long, it is very crescenty. It kind of curves on itself, which I really like. I think it's supposed to go this way. If I hold it like this. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So you can see that there's sections. If I can hold this. You can see that there's sections. And I may have to eliminate one of the sections and just jump to the lace, which I don't know if I can do that with the stitch counts I have. I think I should be okay. I think, if not, I can fudge it probably, but that's what I think I'm going to have to do. Either eliminate a section or, depending on how much yarn I have left, maybe make a half section. Or maybe I'll put a lifeline in before I do any of that, and then if I have to rip back, I can rip back. If anybody has done this before and has had the same problem and you have any tips or advice, greatly appreciate it. Let me know. Comment below. Okay, now my next project is a crochet project. I'm kind of new to crochet. I'm kind of a beginner at crochet. I'm not super great at crochet, but I have a project that I'm working on and I'm really proud of it actually. So I'm calling it my Funky Circles Blanket. So I'm using the pattern Wearing the Circle by Shelly Husband. This yarn in the middle is Bernat Premium, and then this yarn around the edge, this teal yarn, is Caron 1 pound. So what I did is I made about 1/4 of the squares. I'm going to need about 20 squares. I decided to go 8 by 10, so I'll need 80 squares. They're about 6 by 6 when they're blocked. blocked them and then decided I want to try Join As You Go because I watched a Craftsy class on Join As You Go and I wanted to try it. So I'm kind of working the squares I already made into the blanket as I go, you know, pulling squares and joining them as I'm making new squares to Join As You Go. That's the square. See, it's a circle and then it squares around the edge. And then from here, it's a double crochet granny square. So you can just keep going and make it bigger or do whatever you want with it, really, from that point. So here it is. I really like it. It keeps my lap warm while I'm working on it, but since I'm doing the Join As You Go, I have to keep like rotating the whole big thing around. But I think it's coming out really well. I'm planning on steam blocking it once it's finished, as I steam blocked the individual squares that I made. Because the steam blocking seems to do really well with this yarn, and I have a handheld garment steamer, so I want to steam block like everything now. Here it is. So that's it. Joining as you go. You can see the joins look really good, except for this one. This one doesn't look really good. I'm gonna have to probably stitch around that and close that up. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this blanket once it's finished though. It doesn't really fit the style of my home decor, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it actually. But it's fun to work on and I'm really proud of it, so I'm gonna keep going. Let me just show you the yarn. Look at this. Isn't it crazy? My dad bought me 5 skeins of this yarn and I'm like, what am I gonna do with it? And he's like, make me something. And then I decided on the blanket that he probably won't use. So if I have leftovers, I'm gonna make him a hat or something. It looks cool, I guess, but like, do you wear it? I really like what I did with it. And then the other yarn is Karen 1 pound. It's just, this is a new skein because I just this morning finished off a whole skein of this. So this is my second skein. Karen 1 pound, like $7. Easy. Now, what do I have upcoming? I have plans for a sweater. Woohoo! So this is a bag I got at AC Moore. I thought it was cute. I got this magazine a while back. This is the Knitter, I'm not sure which issue it is. It's a winter one. Issue 119, if that matters. Look at the sweater on the cover. It's gonna be my sweater. I'm gonna do it. So let me, oh, a tip. When you're working for the pattern from a magazine, I always photocopy the pattern so I can write on it. Because I don't want to write on my only copy of the magazine, because what if I want to make it again? What if, you know, I screw something up with the markings I make and I need to just photocopy another one and start over? So this is the sweater. I had to rip the page out to photocopy it properly. It's got kind of not a turtleneck, but a rolled over neck. It's got an XO cable running over here and a lot of it is stockinette. Sorry, I'm shaking. Isn't it beautiful? And the model is absolutely stunning with her red hair that is naturally red, and then I have my red hair that is obviously not naturally red. So this is going to be my next sweater. I had another failed sweater attempt with the Prescott pullover from Interweave. That was just a little too complicated for me. I was getting it done, but it was really slow progress and I wasn't enjoying it. It's like, knitting should be fun, right? So hopefully that will give me some cable satisfaction without having to stress too much. So the yarn I'm using, let me get my swatch. The yarn I'm using is the Fiber Co. Luma. So this is the incorrect size and this is the correct size. the Fiberco Luma. It's got like everything in it. It's 50% merino, and then it's cotton, linen, and silk. I don't know what the percentages are because I don't have the tag with me. It's soft, but it also has like some rigidity to it from the linen, I think. So I think it should show cables really well, and from the Prescott pullover attempt I did, it did show cables really well. I had issues with it pilling then, so I'm hoping it doesn't pill now. But yeah, I bought enough to make a big cabled sweater, so I need to use it, and it's beautiful yarn. It's like this green kind of color. The details, of course, will be on my Ravelry page. And then, oh, the other thing, the Knitter is a British magazine, so everything's in metric, which is great because I learned how to use metric in school, but the needle sizes and stuff are rough. I actually had to drop 2 needle sizes to get the correct gauge. So these are the Knitter's Pride marbles in size 4. They have a little bit of give to them. I'm trying not to break them. And this is a 32-inch cable from Knit Picks. Knit Picks, Knitter's Pride go together, which is awesome. And this is going to be my main needle. But the problem is I don't have a size 2 circular needle. Because you have to drop a certain number of millimeters, so that makes size 2. So what I have here are straights. I'm not sure how straights are going to work, especially around the collar, because everything's knit flat. So the straights would be okay. But the collar is picked up and knit around, and then you knit back and forth around. And I'm not sure these straight needles will be conducive to that. They're also aluminum. I hate aluminum needles. I hate aluminum needles. I have some Knitter's Pride Zings in a size 4, and those are nice aluminum needles at DPNs. And I just don't like them. I just don't like them. So hopefully when I'm doing my ribbing on these, it won't be too bad. But if not, I might have to buy a needle. Oh darn, I have to buy needles. So that's all I've got there, is that swatch. I haven't cast on. It's just the swatch. But I got gauge, so that's a plus. So that's one of my upcoming plans. My other upcoming plan is a hat for my boyfriend. He requested a beanie that has a little bit of slouch, that has a zigzag, is what he called it, pattern, but he really meant a chevron pattern, in texture, not in colors. And he wanted a pom-pom on it. I'm like, okay, I can put a pom-pom on it. He's like, no, but can I have like a pom-pom on it? And I told him, well, I can find a way to make the pom-poms removable, right? I usually use removable pom-poms, but I'm going to try a new method with a button and a buttonhole kind of method. So that way, someone who doesn't have like a tapestry needle and stuff can remove the pom-pom. And I'm like, I could make you multiple pom-poms. You could switch out. And he's like, yes! He was so excited. I'm like, okay. So I'm planning on making that one out of Karen's Simply Soft in navy blue, because navy blue is the color he likes. He looks so good in light colors because he's blonde, but he has brown eyes. But he always wears these dark colors. Like, why? But whatever. Navy blue because he likes it, and this is Karen's Simply Soft. He squished it and he's like, that's really soft, I like that. So he approves. I'm not sure if I'm going to design that hat or if I'm going to find a chevron hat. One that I'm looking at is the Timeless Tail Beanie. Oh my gosh, I don't have it written down who designed that one. It's the Timeless Tail Beanie. I'm looking at it. It's not quite what I was thinking of in my head. But it would mean I didn't have to design a hat again, because I'm fed up with hats. You'll see why next thing I talk about. But I am fed up with hats right now. I don't want to knit another hat. I don't want to see another hat. I have knit so many hats. I don't want any more hats. I'll knit him a hat. I love him. I'll knit him a hat. So, speaking of hats, speaking of designing, you can look forward to a pattern release coming from me pretty soon for what's called the Conroe hat. Why is it called the Conroe hat? I designed this hat for my grandfather who lives in Conroe, Texas. And he needed a hat to wear walking the dog in the mornings or when it gets a little bit cold. But it doesn't get super cold in Texas, so I wanted to knit him a lightweight hat, and I came up with this. Now, I've already gifted him the actual original Conroe hat, so this is the woman size that I made out of the leftover yarn. Yes, the diamonds are showing up really well. I was afraid they wouldn't show up really well on camera. So what I've done at the bottom is a nice wide rib. So it's really stretchy. And it has a fold over brim, but the pattern includes options for a brim that does not fold over if you prefer to have a standard size brim. All of the hats I'm going to show you that I made, the samples that I made for the Conroe hat, have a fold over brim because I was trying to get yardage estimates and I didn't realize you could do it with math. I did figure out eventually you could do it with math. But I was doing it just by knitting all the sizes and figuring out how much yarn I used. So that's not the best way to do it. But anyway, lesson learned. I knit the fold over brim so that way I could give yardage estimates to the fold over brim and then just tell you you're going to need less yarn if you don't use the fold over brim. But I don't know how much less, so. But anyway, this is the woman's size. You can try it on. This yarn is super soft. It's merino yak alpaca blend from Barocco. So it's a commercial yarn, but it's a nicer yarn. I'm going to show you the decreases. I just did some standard decreases, but they look really nice. So this is the woman size. I designed this hat in sizes for everybody. So this size right here is the child's 4+ years size. You can see that it is shorter than the hat, but it is the same width. So this is the child size. I knit the adult man size, but it's not here. And this is the newborn baby size, 0 to 6 month size. I did a contrast brim on this one. I don't like how it looks. But I was using scraps and I was afraid I would run out. This pink is the same pink that was in my wrist warmers. You can see you only get a couple of repeats of the diamonds here on the baby hat, but it is so cute. And then the decreases, of course, still look good. Nice wide rib. This is the fold over brim. Fold that over. Isn't it cute? It's like the only baby thing I've ever made for an actual baby. I guess I'll show this. I knit a sweater and pants for my teddy bear. These pants, which fall down because they're designed for babies and not for bears, are the Tiny Pants pattern on Ravelry. And then this sweater is actually a Build-A-Bear sweater pattern that I didn't like very much. I didn't enjoy working with it. I have it linked on my Ravelry page, but I just kind of winged it, basically. I was trying it on the bear as I went, and there you go. This sweater is left over from the giant sweater I made. And then these pants, I have a skirt. They're leftovers from a skirt that I made that looks exactly like that. So if I wanted to, I could match the bear. I'm not going to, but I could. Okay, so yes, look forward for the Conroe hat pattern release. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Please comment below with any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, anything you have for me that you want me to see, that you want me to know. I'd love to read all of them. I'd love to get a chance to respond to you. Maybe next video I'll take some of your suggestions, answer some of your questions. You know, I really want this to be a community of people that can kind of hang out and talk to each other. So, and I want you guys to learn a little bit more about me. Thank you so much for watching, and bye!